Hi, welcome to No School Media. We have a new exciting tutorial right now. This time we're going to use a planar tracking instead of 3D tracking to compose the shot. I have a shot right now with a signage of Silent Hill with also a dark clouds that's been messed up. It's not really blended well, but I use only this one just to give you an exact idea of how I did it. Now, I have this scene here that we're going to use in After Effects. This is a Silent Hill version of mine. What I did here is I'm going to track this one on Mocha. The original footage is what I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to hide all of the layers just to show you where I started and how I did it. Yeah, hiding all of these effects. We used a planar tracking on Mocha. So for this time, what am I going to do now is planar track this one. So here's the footage. What I'm going to do to the footage is I'm going to animation, track in Mocha AE, and then yes, we're going to track this one. Now into Mocha, you can see here I have a track of the sky. I'm going to hide it out, and then going to hide this gear here also. And then yeah, here is the track of the signage that I did, just a garbage mat of the signage, and then we're going to take the information of this one. If you can see, this what I did before. It's been tracked already, and it's perfectly aligning with the signage. And then we're going to replace this one. What I did is just press this track after making that garbage mat, and then you can see it's tracking already on the footage, and it's reading all the pixels which is not being tracked and also being tracked. Planar tracking is just like seeing all the pixels surrounding what you did, and then it's going to take that information and it will do the tracking. Now the tracking is done. We can see here the track. Yeah, when we play this one, just grabbing through this timeline, it will bounce around, so showing you what's being tracked. And then after seeing this one, what we're going to do is let's open this planar track, the planar surface, and then you can see you can align the footage from here. So this planar surface, this will be your comp size. So if you're going to place it down correctly, this is going to be the size of the signage that you are going to do. So if this one is aligned or it's the same size of the comp, so it will perfectly align. If it's not, and it's going to be squashed or skewed or stretched out. So aligning this one along with your comp will be the best thing to do. So if you see this one and we're opened up the grid, now you can see we can align the grid along with the signage, something like that. And then we see if this is tracked well. So you can see the grid is still staying on that same level of the signage, and it's perfectly tracked. Now we have this tracking data. We're going to take this one into After Effects. So we're going to export this tracking data, and then we're not using this After Effects transform data, the position, scale, and rotation, but instead we're going to use a corner pin data from this Mocha into After Effects. To do this one, what we're going to do now is we're going to press Export Tracking Data, and then we're going to select Corner Pin Data. Just click this one, and then we're going to select After Effects a Corner Pin, and then the one with the support of blur, and then we're going back into After Effects. So now we're going to create a new solid, just to give you a rough idea how that surface data is going to be placed. And then going on the first frame always for Mocha, and then just pasting the corner pin data that you've extracted and copied on the clipboard. So now you can see it's been perfectly tracked on the signage and it's perfectly aligned. As you can see earlier, I have a different sky on this footage, so I made also a track for the sky in Mocha. So this Mocha, on the second track that I did, we're going to hide that one. And then we're going to reveal how I track the sky. So I garbage mapped also the mountains, some details on the footage and the trees, also in the highway, and then also with the sky, and then going to track this one. And then we're going to attach the sky from here. So you could use this as a sky replacement also. This is how I track the sky, just garbage matting this ones, something like this, and then just clicking, getting some details from the center of the screen until to the top, which is everything is not moving, so it's like a planar track only. And then we're just going to press track. Okay, now that the track is done, so we're going to test this one out. Now the information of the track is perfectly aligned also to the sky and also to the mountain. We're going to use this one to create a sky mat from our footage. Now we're going to export this tracking data. Let me press this stop first. So export tracking data, but we're going to get the transform data. Then we're going to create a null object on After Effects. So click this one, export transform data, and then copying it to clipboard. So now in After Effects, we're going to create a new null. And then this null, we're going to paste on the first frame of our footage. We're going to paste the information. So now you can see the null object has an animation inside, position and rotation of scale of the sky. Since this is not rotating, it's not really going to move. And then what I did is I did a sky mat. It's just a solid layer with a trace of a mountain. Anyway, going back into the signage, this is just a comp that I did earlier. It's just a grunge image and then just some text that I masked and been alpha out. So it's just a rough image that I can always change the color and the texture of it. So this is the signage, and going back to our main comp, yeah, I duplicated this one just to add a depth on our signage. Now, for the sky mat, I just imported a image of a cloud and then masking it out, and then also using the matte image from a solid object from the transform data from After Effects, and just pasting it on the null object, and then equipping the solid object into the null object, and also the sky is being picked, whipped, and attached to the null object also. And then just a matter of color correcting everything just to blend everything together to make it a bit horrible. And I messed up really. All about this tracking and replacing the signage for this one. Just giving you a rough idea how to use this Mocha tracking in one way, and also how to enhance your work and your projects to create a new style and improvements to your work. So now that we have that, we're going to go to the next project. Now I have this model of a van. So I've done this also earlier. This van is also tracked, but a different thing is I rotoscope this van. The actual shape of the van is been rotoscoped, so the graphics will not spill out outside of the van, and it's like it's sticking there. So you could do this one like replacing the color of the van or putting some stickers on it, some animations. So this is what I did. So you can see now it's not spilling off onto the tires, and also some of the graphics is not going out of the body of the van. Okay, let's hide this one. This is the rotoscope that I did. I did this rotoscope inside of Mocha. And then the good thing is whenever you trace something or rotoscope in Mocha, it will adjust on the shape of what you've been tracking on. So you could just export the data and just paste it here. Okay, let's track this one. Just animate this. Go to animation and then track in Mocha AE. So this is the sample footage that I did. This is the track. We're going to hide that one. So what I did before is I traced the shape of the van that I'm going to use as a mat, something like this. So what we're going to do here is let's play this first. Is trace the van according to its shape and the graphics that you were going to put in, and then you will just going to adjust some of the points that's been slipped off or out of line. So you can see these green points. That's only the adjustment that I did. So if the track is going, it's not aligned like this, you're just going to nudge the dots so it will be aligned on the shot, and the graphics will not spill off. Now I'm going to adjust the planar surface for the van where the image or the graphics is going to be placed in, and adjusting this one. Okay. My comp is my graphics that I'm going to put in this van is estimatedly the same height of the comp. So I'm going to adjust this planar surface as the same size of my comp. So if you aligned it on exactly the size of the van, make sure that your comp is also the size of the van, or at least the same scale or aspect ratio. Let's test this one out. You can see it's perfectly aligned with the van. So now I think it's already good for export. Okay, let's stop this one. Yeah. Now we're going to export tracking data. And then we're going to choose, not this one, cancel it, export shape data. And then copying it to clipboard. Now we're going to create a new solid. Uh, let's name this one van mask. Then press OK. And going back to the first frame and just paste it there. Now you can see it's the same shape of the van that we're going to use as mask. Now we have the rotoscope of the van. Also, you could place this one as an alpha matte and blend it in by changing the blend mode. We're going to take one of the comp. Yes, grab this planar surface, and then we're just going to adjust it a little, the same size of the comp. Now I'm going to export corner pin data and then copy to clipboard, going back into After Effects. Now I'm going to, first we're going to freeze this frame. So right click, time, then freeze frame. Now I'm going to extend it up to the end of the footage. Now we can paste the corner pin data onto this comp. Now you can see it's pasted, but the S is spilling off and the Y also is spilling off the bottom of the van. So what we're going to do there is we're going to use the rotoscope that we did before and setting it as an alpha matte. Now we're going to change the blend mode into overlay, and there it's being blended on the body of the van. Yeah, I think we're done here. There's another technique and idea for you guys. Next up, we're going to be in depth on the next tutorial. Now into our third sample. This is the footage of a car. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to track also the car, and let's see how can we manipulate this one. This is the final footage that I did. So adding in some lights, and also there's a bullet hole on the windshield that's going to appear. Okay, let's test this one. So yeah, now you can see the bullet that's appearing on the windshield, like it's being shot off. Also, you can see the lights that is being tracked. It's a bit convincing also that the headlight is on. Let's dive into this one. So let's see how we can manipulate this footage into some action-packed scene that we did see. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a new comp. Now I'm going to track this one. Go to animation, track in Mocha AE. Okay. So we have the footage of the car here. So what we're going to do now, we're going to scrub through the timeline, and we see the clearer um, face of the car that we're going to track. This is a perfect footage. I'm going to get the X-spline, and then I'm just going to trace the outside of the car. So Mocha is going to determine which is being tracked and which is not. It's going to read the pixel around the car, so it knows where it's being tracked. I'm going to track backwards. Now going forward from the track, we started the track, and then we're going to track it forward. We're going to stop here, and then we're going to realign the points. So this point will be aligned. And adjust this one. Then press continue tracking forward. Now some points will be misaligned. So you're going to stop the tracking and just align all the position. You don't have to restart on everything. So let's stop this one and let's align this point here. And also that one, and continue tracking. Okay, let's stop and then realign this one and discontinue tracking again. So now we have finished the track. Uh, let's play this one if the track is good. So as you can see, we have a clean track. So what we're going to do now is we're going to align the planar surface into the windshield. So take this planar surface and then zoom in. I'm going back to the face where the car is perfectly flat on the screen. And then we're going to adjust this planar surface. Let's zoom in. Now we're going to align this one onto the windshield. This is where we're going to place the bullet holes rather. So let's check it out if the track is good. So as you can see, our track is stable. It's attached on the windshield. So we're going to export the tracking data, corner pin data, with the support of motion blur, and then copy to clipboard. Now into After Effects. I have a comp here with bullet holes on a windshield. I made it earlier. This is what it looked like. It's just pasting all the bullet holes on the windshield, made it in Photoshop, and then cropping it together, and then rotating some other bullet holes. So We can create some variation of the bullets, of the bullet holes rather, and then making it as a comp. Now we're going to paste it, the corner pin data, on the first frame of our timeline. So you can see it's perfectly aligned on the windshield of the car. And you can see also that the bullet hole is appearing on the windshield. Now we're going to change the blend mode into screen. Let's test it out. There, so now it looks like the car is being shot off. Now what we can do now is going back into Mocha, and then let's adjust this planar surface into the headlight of the car. So we're going to do one of the headlight. Now you don't have to track it anymore. You just have to align the planar surface into the headlight, so you don't have to track all over again, and just test it out if it's positioned well. Now this is okay. I'm going to export it. Export as transform data for the position, rotation, and scale. And copying it to clipboard and going back to After Effects. Now into After Effects, we're going to create a new null. And to this null, we're going to paste the data on the first frame of our footage. There you can see it's been attached to our headlight. Now we're going to create another null. Let's name this null first a light one. And then we're creating another null. And then we're going to name this a light 2. Now we're going back to Mocha. Now we're going to track this second headlight by just moving the planar surface onto the other side of the car. Okay, I think we have a good track. So let's export this one, same. Transform data, copy to clipboard, and going back to After Effects. Now we're going to paste this one into the first frame of the light 2, the null object, and paste. Now we have the two null objects being attached on the headlight of the car. So what we're going to do now is make a new solid. Let's name this one optical. And then we're going to get some optical flares from Video Copilot. Optical, there. Go to options, and then let's just pick a light that is good for the car. Let's use this train, and then press OK. Now let's use transparent, and then screen. What we're going to do now is we're going to attach this into the null object. So open up the effects panel into the position XY of the optical flares, and then we're going to alt-click on the stopwatch. So we could attach this one, just alt-click on a stopwatch. And then we're going to drag this one into the position of the first null. Automatically, it will be attached on the first null, so it will be the headlight. Then we're going to duplicate this optical layer. Duplicate. And then we're going to open up the effects again. Alt-click on the stopwatch on the position XY. And also we have to open the position of the null object on light 2. And then we're just going to pick whip it again to the position of the light 2. And there you go. You have the headlights on the After Effects, or I mean in the optical flares. Now let's hide the nulls because we don't need it anymore. Now you can see we have a headlight and bullet holes on the windshield. So what we're going to do now is just color correct everything so it will blend together. So right click, maybe add some curves adjustment. And let's adjust the color of this one so it looks like an afternoon or almost nighttime. Then we'll create a new adjustment layer just to blend everything together. And then we're going to put some curves adjustment again. And then let's darken it up a little. And maybe let's color correct this one. Maybe blue. Increase the blue. Also, let's the red and some green. Now you have somehow a night shot of a car with a headlight and bullet holes on the windshield. And that's about it. I hope you have learned something from No School Media. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment if you will. Um, I hope we could do this more. I'm glad that I'm sharing my knowledge, especially to those people who cannot afford to go to school just to do these things. Once again, this is No School Media. I hope you have learned something, and thank you guys.